Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
As the double suns of Zarnath hung low on the horizon, illuminating the vibrant marketplace of Glora Station, a kaleidoscope of colors unfolded before Hudson's eyes. Alien merchants hawked their wares, strange fruits that shimmered in shades of blue and gold, handcrafted jewelry that seemed to change shape with the light, and textiles that whispered tales of distant worlds. The air buzzed with the chatter of diverse species, each conversing in a symphony of languages, creating an atmosphere both thrilling and overwhelming. Hudson, an earthling who had come to the station for a brief reprieve from his mundane life, felt a mixture of excitement and unease. The station was a melting pot, drawing all kinds of life forms, but anxiety knotted in his stomach. He was one of the few humans present, often seen as an oddity. While adventurous at heart, he was also the type to sympathize with others, often extending kindness to anyone in need, sometimes to the point of overwhelming himself. As he wandered through the bustling stalls, he couldn't help but feel a sense of purpose. He wanted to help, to bring a little human warmth to this vibrant, chaotic place. At that moment, he noticed a small commotion near a fruit stand. A creature resembling a cross between a reptile and a feline seemed to be in distress, its scales glimmering red as it struggled to communicate with a bemused vendor. Hudson approached without thinking. It was in his nature. "Hey, is everything all right?" he asked, crouching down to the creature's eye level. The vendor shrugged, clearly frustrated. "It doesn't have money," the vendor replied tersely, crossing his arms. "Here, let me help," Hudson said, fumbling in his pockets to find a few credits. He placed them in front of the vendor, who eyed him skeptically. With the transaction concluded, the reptilian creature blinked up at him with what he interpreted as gratitude. Hudson smiled, feeling a warm glow of satisfaction. He never failed to believe that small acts of kindness could ripple out into the deeper universes. As he continued his exploration, he stumbled across a stall that showcased exotic crafts from the far reaches of the galaxy. Among the sculptures and artwork, something caught his eye, an intricately designed artifact that resembled a heart, pulsating faintly with an ethereal light. The vendor, an imposing figure with 6 limbs and a head adorned by brilliantly colored antennae, noticed Hudson's interest. "Ah, human, you have an eye for rare beauty," the vendor crooned, a smile breaking across his multiple faces. "This is a high-fat crystal, known for its bonding energy, perfect for connecting with your mate." A blush crept up Hudson's neck. "I'm just browsing," he stammered, awkwardly stepping back. Despite his discomfort, he couldn't help but wonder about the concept of bonding. Was it just a whimsical notion reserved for other species, or was there more to it? Lost in thought, he barely noticed the figure approaching him through the throng of people. Tanya, a striking alien with luminescent skin and eyes that shimmered like sapphires, entered his view. Hers was a beauty that transcended human standards, her form graceful and imposing in equal measure. Hudson's heart raced as he realized the implications of their interaction. Rumors buzzed about her. She was not only beautiful but also incredibly intelligent and fierce. "Excuse me," she said, her voice like an enchanting melody intermingling with the sounds of the market. Hudson's mouth went dry. "Yes, I couldn't help but notice your kindness," she said, glancing at the creature he had helped. "Not many are willing to lend a hand here. It's refreshing." Thank you. I guess I just think everyone deserves help," he replied, his voice shaky. Tanya tilted her head, curious. "Would you mind helping me with something?" There was a glint in her eyes, a challenge, a promise. Hudson was taken aback. What could this otherworldly beauty want from a mere human like him? But he nodded, determined to see where this unexpected connection might lead. With that simple nod, Hudson stepped into a world of possibilities, one that would change his life forever, igniting feelings he had never anticipated and unraveling the fabric of kindness into something much more profound. Hudson followed Tanya through the winding corridors of Glora Station, his heart pounding in his chest. Her presence was intoxicating. Every glance sent shivers down his spine and stirred feelings he had never experienced. The vibrant market slowly faded into the background as they ventured into a quieter section of the station, filled with elaborate mosaics and soft ambient lights. "Where are we going?" he asked, trying to steady his breath. Tanya turned, a playful smile dancing on her lips. "To my home," she replied, her voice smooth and graceful. "I want to show you something very important." Once they arrived at her dwelling, a lush, plant-filled space adorned with intricate artifacts from her home planet, Hudson's senses were overwhelmed. The atmosphere was serene and warm. The walls seemed to pulse gently with bioluminescence, and the air was scented with floral aromas that tickled his nose. "Wow, this is incredible." He looked around, marveling at the exotic beauty around him. "Thank you," Tanya said, her eyes glinting with pride. "These are symbols of my culture and the connection we share with nature." She pointed towards a vibrant painting depicting a celestial mating ritual between her species and their chosen partners. "What's this?" he asked, approaching the artwork. The piece was alive with color and movement, telling a story that was both foreign and oddly familiar. "That is the blossom rite," she explained, her expression shifting to one of serious contemplation. "It is a sacred ceremony where two beings choose to bond, to share their essence in order to create life." Hudson felt a flutter of intrigue and trepidation in his stomach. "Bond," he echoed, trying to mask the nervousness bubbling beneath the surface. "Yes, to unite oneself, to become mate and partner in all ways. I find you interesting, Hudson, and I have felt a connection since our first meeting." Her gaze bore into him, and he could hardly breathe. A flood of thoughts rushed through him. Could he really consider such a bond with someone so extraordinary? "Tanya, I appreciate that, but I'm just a human. A mate? That's a big step." Tanya stepped closer, her luminescent skin casting a soft glow around Hudson. "I do not choose lightly, Hudson. My people believe in the strength of partnerships, particularly those that cross boundaries. Your kindness inspires me, and I feel a calling to share this journey with you." Hudson's pulse quickened, a thrilling mix of excitement and fear racing through him. "And what would that mean for us? For you and your family?" "There is something I must tell you," she began, her voice dropping to a more serious tone. "My species has a unique method of reproduction. We require strong mates to ensure healthy offspring, and it is said that the first bond with a human could create a being unlike any other." He was taken aback. The weight of her words settled heavily in the air. "You mean, I would be the father of your offspring?" She nodded slowly, her eyes filled with earnestness. "Yes, but this decision is not one to be taken lightly. It would need to be mutually desired. I do not wish to impose, but rather to explore the possibilities of our bond together." Hudson's mind raced. The cultural implications, the responsibilities, and the limitations of their different worlds were suddenly glaringly apparent. Yet, as he looked into Tanya's eyes, he felt an undeniable pull, an inquisitive curiosity that begged to be explored. I need to think about it," he finally replied, attempting to steady his thoughts. "This is all so sudden. I mean, I'm just a guy from Earth." Tanya reached out and gently cupped his face, her touch soft and warm. "Take your time. This is not a decision that needs to be rushed. I simply wanted to share the truth with you." The moment hung between them, electric and charged. Hudson's heart raced as the gravity of her proposition loomed large, awakening desires he barely understood. In that instant, he realized that life as he knew it was on the brink of a profound transformation. As he stood there, caught between practicality and yearning, he knew one thing for sure: his decision would change everything. The quiet intensity in Tanya's home enveloped Hudson like a warm blanket. The vibrant environment around him seemed to pulse with life, in tandem with the whirlwind of emotions swirling in his mind. After their conversation, he had spent hours pondering the enormity of Tanya's proposition. Could he truly become a mate to an alien? What would that even mean? As if sensing his turmoil, Tanya gestured for him to sit on a plush cushion woven from luminescent fibers. "Come, let me show you more about my culture. Understanding it may help you in your decision." Hudson nodded, grateful for the distraction. He watched as Tanya moved gracefully through her space, the soft glow of her skin illuminating her features. She gathered various artifacts, each telling tales of her people and their traditions. "This here," she began, holding up a delicate artifact shaped like a swirling vortex. Represents the harmonization stone. It is believed to enhance the bond between mates. When two beings come together, they exchange the stones as a commitment. She placed it on a table between them with care. He could feel the weight of her gaze as she watched him take in the stone. Where I come from, we see mating not just as an act, but a deep spiritual connection. It is both a physical and emotional union, symbolizing our commitment to nurture life. Hudson felt a flicker of recognition, like how we view marriage. But in my world, it can also get complicated. People enter relationships for many reasons, not all of them sincere. Tanya frowned slightly, her eyes reflecting curiosity. Is it not possible to find sincerity among humans? A wave of frustration mixed with affection washed over him. It can be, but societal expectations and personal fears often get in the way. He took a breath, trying to recall simpler moments. I've seen hurt and disappointment, Tanya. People can be selfish. She pondered his words. But here, in this moment, we are free from those expectations. There are no preconceived notions guiding our interactions, only the truth that we create together, she replied earnestly. Feeling the spark of connection between them, Hudson leaned closer, caught in the magnetic pull of her words. You really believe that? I know it, she said confidently, placing a soft hand on his. Let me show you more traditions of my people. Perhaps you will find a sense of understanding that transcends your fears. Over the next few hours, they delved into Tanya's traditions, her laughter ringing like music as she animatedly described the customs surrounding the Blossom Rite. Hudson was captivated by her storytelling, picturing scenes of her people celebrating love and the birth of new life in an array of colors and melodies. Eventually, they moved to a space at the back of her home adorned with flora that hummed softly. This is the Garden of Ties, she explained. Here, we cultivate plants that are sacred to our bond. Let me show you how we create our own bondflowers. She knelt amidst the flowers and began to carefully guide him through their cultivation process. The flowers glowed more vividly when Tanya's hands brushed against their petals. Together, they gathered vibrant blossoms, their joyful laughter filling the air as they shared anecdotes and continued to explore each other's worlds. As they worked, Hudson couldn't help but feel an excitement blossoming within him. Tanya's passion and dedication were both enchanting and infectious. She had a profound connection with her culture that stirred something deep inside him, a longing to step outside himself, to understand something greater. Finally, they finished crafting their bondflowers, their faces close as Tanya presented one to him. This flower symbolizes growth and unity. If we choose to forge a bond, this will serve as a reminder of our commitment. With a lump in his throat, Hudson accepted the flower, its soft petals glowing warmly in his hand. And if I decide not to? Tanya's expression softened, revealing vulnerability behind her fierce exterior. Then it becomes a reminder of the journey we took together. Either way, the bond we share remains valid, whether it leads to creation or discovery. His heart ached at her sincerity. It struck him then how genuine their connection felt compared to the fleeting relationships he had experienced back on Earth. He looked deeply into her eyes, a storm of emotions brewing inside him, fear, excitement, and an overwhelming sense of potential. Incredible, he whispered, not knowing if he meant the flower or the bond forming between them. Tanya smiled, and in that moment, Hudson knew he was being drawn into something he could never have anticipated, an adventure filled with love, discovery, and the possibilities of life beyond the stars. The days that followed were a whirlwind of discovery for Hudson and Tanya. Each morning was filled with laughter, cultural exchanges, and romantic moments that left him breathless. The bondflowers adorned his quarters, serving as a constant reminder of Tanya's sincerity and the connection they were building. Yet, beneath the surface of their blossoming relationship, darker clouds were beginning to gather. One afternoon, as Hudson and Tanya strolled through the marketplace, he sensed a shift in the atmosphere. Tanya had excitedly pointed out different wares from the vendors, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. But as they approached a stall filled with shimmering crystals, Hudson could feel the eyes of a group nearby, aliens whispering, pointing, and staring. Tanya, he murmured, noticing her stiffen slightly. Are they talking about us? She glanced at the group, her expression shifting to one of unease. Yes, my people do not often mingle with humans, let alone consider them as potential mates. Hudson's heart sank. But we're just getting to know each other, he said defensively. Why does it matter? Tanya sighed, looking down. Societal norms are strict in my culture. The thought of interspecies bonding is seen as unacceptable by many, particularly the Council of Elders. They hold significant sway in the community. Fear gripped Hudson as her words sank in. Are you worried about what they'll think? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. It is more than that, she replied, her tone serious. If they disapprove of my choice, they have the power to ostracize me, to make life difficult for my family. A chill shot through Hudson as he contemplated the implications. So this isn't just about us. There are consequences beyond our connection. He felt a knot form in his stomach. Yes. Tanya placed a hand on his arm, her touch comforting yet heavy. I refuse to regret my choice, but there's a part of me that fears what could happen. Will you stand by me, no matter what? An urge to protect her surged inside him, mixing with uncertainty. Of course, but how can I help? I'm just a human. We must confront this together, she urged. I need you to meet my family. They will want to know about you, to see your heart. He hesitated for a moment, knowing full well that it would be a challenging confrontation with societal expectations. He had always aligned with kindness, but now kindness was tangled with the very real threat of rejection and doubting glances. All right, he finally agreed, swallowing his apprehension. I'll meet your family. Tanya's face lit up with a mix of relief and excitement, but tension still lingered in the air. That evening, they prepared for the visit, each absorbing the significance of what was about to unfold. Hudson dressed in his best outfit, which felt inadequate when he saw Tanya adorned in her ceremonial attire, a flowing garment that glimmered like the night sky, accentuating her beauty and dignity. Just be yourself, she reassured him, sensing his nervousness. Together, they made their way to Tanya's family home, a structure vibrant with colors and intricate architectural designs. As they arrived at the grand entrance, Hudson felt the weight of her culture envelop him, and the reality of the moment intensified. The door opened, revealing Tanya's family, a group of family members, a mix of elder and young, who collectively shared the same luminescent beauty. Their expressions ranged from curiosity to confusion, and Hudson's heart raced. Tanya, one of the elders stepped forward, her voice surprisingly gentle yet firm. You have brought a human here. This is not customary. Tanya stood tall, her chin raised. I have chosen Hudson. He shows great kindness, and I wish for you to understand my decision. Hudson could feel their scrutinizing eyes on him. Every gaze felt like an evaluation, measuring his worthiness as a potential mate for Tanya. Speak then, the elder commanded, her eyes narrowing. What do you have to offer our daughter and our people? The challenge left him temporarily speechless, a swarm of thoughts crossing his mind as he wrestled with the right words. Finding his voice, he took a deep breath and began. I've learned many things from Tanya. She's opened my heart and shown me a world beyond my imagination. I want to be there for her in every way possible. The room fell silent, but the uncertainty hung in the air like an uninvited guest. But can you provide what is being asked? The elder pressed again, skepticism shimmering in her eyes. Hudson's pulse quickened, the weight of their traditions pressing heavily on his chest. All I can offer is my sincerity. I am human, yes, and I cannot bring what you may expect, but... As he continued, he felt an unexpected surge of confidence rise within him. I promise to embrace Tanya as my partner. I may not come from your world, but love knows no boundaries. It's honest, and it requires respect and effort. That is what I can give. A murmur rippled through the room, curiosity intertwined with skepticism. Tanya's mother exchanged glances with the other elders, weighing their options. You speak of love, the elder replied thoughtfully. But our culture demands strength, resilience, and unity. You will face trials that challenge that love. I understand, Hudson replied, his voice firm. but I want to try. Not just for Tanya, but for myself. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the eldest sighed, signaling for silence from the others. Very well. You will be given a chance to prove your intentions. But know this, failure to honor our customs could have dire consequences. Hudson felt a weight lift slightly, but replaced with a new dread as he realized the stakes were even higher than he had anticipated. My family will watch you, Hudson. We will not hinder your bond, but we will ensure it is a worthy one, she concluded. As he stood there, uncertainty loomed above him, but mixed with something brighter. A flicker of hope as he glanced at Tanya. The look of encouragement in her eyes could not have been clearer. Together, despite the daunting societal challenges ahead, they were determined to confront whatever lay on their path. Days turned into weeks as Hudson integrated himself into Tanya's life, trying to prove his worth and sincerity. He faced scrutiny from her family and the community, yet each time he returned to Tanya, he found comfort in their bond and her unwavering support. Their love grew amidst the challenges, but Hudson could feel the weight of the impending trials looming closer. It was an unassuming afternoon when the storm finally broke. Hudson and Tanya were at the market once again, blending in amongst the colorful stalls when a group of hostile aliens, members of the council who had opposed their bond, approached them. Their energy crackled with contempt, and Hudson immediately felt a chill sweep across the warm air. Tanya, one of the aggressive figures, a stout creature with sharp features and an eerie glow, called out, "You disgrace your family by associating with this human. You bring shame to our traditions." Hudson felt the sudden tension in the air. "We're just here for the market," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "What you offer is not welcome here," the creature spewed, a sneer twisting its lips. "You risk everything by being with her, and your kind have nothing to offer us." Tanya stepped forward, her face resolute and unyielding. "I chose Hudson. He stands for kindness and compassion, qualities that our culture should embrace, not reject." "Compassion will not uphold a bond," the creature scoffed, with disdain fueling their words. "A human cannot understand our ways. To mix bloodlines threatens our very existence. You, Tanya, are better than this." Before Hudson could interject, Tanya was shaking her head, her determination clearer than ever. "It is love that brings strength. You will not dictate my life or my choices." "Enough," the leader bellowed, his voice echoing through the marketplace, drawing attention from other shoppers eager to witness the confrontation. "This creature has bewitched you. Our ancestors warned us about such unions. You choose to endanger our lineage." Hudson's heart raced, anger bubbling within him. "Listen," he shouted, stepping boldly forward. "Whether I am human or not, my intentions are to support Tanya, to learn, and to embrace our bond. I will defend her from anyone who threatens the connection we've built." The crowd murmured, shifting in response to the confrontation. Tanya's eyes flickered with admiration and realization as she squeezed Hudson's hand, drawing strength from their unity. But the leader was undeterred. "You are an outsider who does not belong. You do not understand the greater consequences of your actions." "I may not understand all your customs," Hudson replied, his voice steady, "but I understand love, loyalty, and the beauty of connection. Tanya is my partner. She has shown me a world I did not know existed, and I will stand by her side regardless of what anyone thinks." With each word, the tension thickened. Faces in the crowd turned, some nodding in agreement, others whispering with discontent. Hudson could see the internal struggle reflected in their eyes. For a brief moment, he felt a glimmer of hope that perhaps they could shift perspectives. The alien leader sneered, "Very well. If you wish to be part of our society, then you shall be tested. You will participate in the rite of trials." "The what?" Hudson asked, feeling a pulse of dread. "It is a series of challenges that test your strength and worthiness," the leader explained coldly. "Only then will we allow you to remain with Tanya in a place of acceptance amongst our people." "No," Tanya interjected, stepping forward protectively. "You cannot dictate this to him. He is not a pawn in this game." But the crowd murmured with intrigue, leaning into the spectacle as if hungry for conflict. "Do you accept the challenge?" the leader pressed, eyes glinting with malice, expecting Hudson to falter. Hudson's heart raced, battling uncertainty and fear. This was no light decision. His body hummed with nerves, and each beat of his heart seemed to echo the support he felt from Tanya. He looked down at her, finding strength in her unwavering gaze. "I accept," he declared firmly, a resolve settling within him. The alien leader smirked, stepping back and gesturing to the surrounding crowd. "Prepare yourselves. The rite of trials will commence at dusk. If you fail, you will be cast away, and Tanya will face the council's judgment for her choice." Tanya's eyes widened in fear, but Hudson felt a rush of adrenaline. He knew that this would be the defining moment, not just for him, but for their relationship, for all the fears they had about acceptance and love. As the sun sank lower in the sky, Hudson trained relentlessly, determined to prove himself. He immersed himself in Tanya's teachings, learning about the customs and particularly the trials that awaited him. She was his pillar of strength, coaching him through every technique and movement, her encouragement igniting a fire within him. Finally, dusk arrived, the air humming with anticipation. The council gathered, and members surrounding the arena formed a circle, casting judging eyes upon Hudson and Tanya. In the center stood a challenge, the rite of trials, and in that moment, amidst uncertainty and fear, Hudson realized that each obstacle was not just a test of strength, but a chance to affirm the love he held for Tanya and the willingness to stand against a world that would see them torn apart. With Tanya by his side, he stepped into the arena, his heart pounding. This was more than a challenge. It was a declaration, a commitment to love against all odds. The arena buzzed with anticipation, the air thick with tension as Hudson stood facing the trials ahead. Tanya watched from the sidelines, her presence a comforting force as he prepared to confront the challenges laid before him. The council members exchanged glances, an electric blend of expectation and skepticism woven through their expressions. "Hudson," announced the elder who had challenged him, "you will face 3 trials. Each one will test your strength, intellect, and wisdom. Succeed, and you shall earn your place among us. Fail, and the consequences will be dire." With a deep breath, Hudson mentally prepared himself. The stakes were incredibly high, but there was something about the prospect of proving their bond that ignited a fire in his heart. He was fighting not just for acceptance, but for Tanya, for their love, and for the possibility of a future together. The first test was a show of physical prowess, with Hudson grappling against a seasoned warrior from Tanya's culture. The clash was intense, muscles strained and bodies collided, but with each minute that passed, Hudson recalled Tanya's words of encouragement. He fought not just with strength, but with heart. Fueled by determination, he managed to gain the upper hand, pinning his opponent to the mat. The crowd erupted in surprise and cheers. The second challenge tested his intellect, as Hudson faced a series of complex puzzles and riddles that required a deep understanding of alien cultural norms and philosophies. As he engaged in dialogue with the council sages, remembering all that Tanya had shared with him, he navigated through nuances and interpretations, ultimately solving the challenges set before him. With each correct answer, he felt Tanya's pride radiating towards him, bolstering his confidence. The final trial was a poignant test of wisdom and emotional resilience. Hudson was faced with choices that embodied key tenets of life, love, and responsibility. The council presented him with possible futures, each interwoven with joy, struggle, and sacrifice. It was here that Hudson realized the true essence of their bond. Love wasn't without its challenges, and choosing to mate with Tanya would mean embracing a shared journey that transcended worlds. In that moment of clarity, Hudson declared, "I choose to honor our connection and the life we could create together. I understand that to unite our species is to embrace both our differences and our union." When the final echoes of his voice faded into silence, the council members considered his words. There was a shift in the energy that surrounded them, first skepticism, then recognition. As Hudson stood breathless, Tanya rushed to his side, her eyes sparkling with tears of pride. "You did it!" she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around him. The elder stepped forward, a rare smile breaking across her face. "You have proven yourself to be worthy not just of Tanya, but of our people. While your union is unconventional, it is a union nonetheless, Perhaps it is time for our society to expand its views on love and family. With that proclamation, cheers erupted from the crowd, a wave of acceptance sweeping through the arena like a tide. Tanya's family surrounded them, their expressions softening as they embraced the couple, a sign that they were welcomed into the folds of their community. But beyond celebration, Hudson felt a deeper shift, like the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. Knowing they were now recognized by her people, the reality of their mating and the life they could create together began to settle in. In the days that followed, as their bond deepened and their relationship grew, Hudson and Tanya prepared for the next stage of their lives. They crafted their own unique traditions surrounding their mating ceremony, blending aspects of Earth's customs with those of Tanya's culture, creating an experience that honored both their identities. The day of their mating ceremony arrived, a beautiful event held in the Garden of Ties, where flowers they cultivated together bloomed with iridescent colors. Surrounded by close friends and family from both cultures, they pledged their love and commitment to one another, exchanging bondflowers as symbols of their unity. As Tanya gazed into Hudson's eyes, she spoke with conviction. "With you, I feel whole. Together, we will create a world filled with laughter, adventure, and love. I promise to stand by you, to learn from you, and to nurture our bond." Hudson replied softly, his heart swelling with emotion. With their vows exchanged, they shared their first kiss as mates, a blending of worlds, of souls, signifying a powerful promise to face the challenges of their unique union together. In the glow of their new beginning, they danced among the blossoms with a newfound determination, excited for the journeys ahead, together as one, ready to embrace the miracle of creation and the dreams of family that lay before them. As they celebrated, Hudson couldn't help but feel that their love story was just beginning, and the universe held endless possibilities for their future.